It's true. We are back once again. We are here on a Friday with special guest who's not even in camera right now, John Suntress.
No, I'm not here. Hey, sorry. I was up all night. And so literally this is almost like my breakfast time, so I'm making breakfast. No one's going to watch me eat, though. I wouldn't subject anybody to that.
So we haven't put you on camera yet, but we are here with John Suntress today, and we're going to be talking about Invincible, the animated series.
Good.
Invincible, the animated series, and also we are going to be talking the latest episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier, or The Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
Yes, it's all about the V's.
The, and the. And I'm going to put us all on screen right now. Yay, we're here.
Hey. An article, you may as well use it. Hi!
There he is, all the way in the distance. He's back there. With us, as always, is our commentator corraller, Wayne. Hi, Wayne.
Wayne. Hey.
How are things?
The Wayne.
The Wayne.
Yes.
That's got to be up there at some point. The Wayne.
At some point, it will be.
The Wayne.
Like it.
So I figured since we were talking about these things, I would draw some Invincible stuff.
Hey, nice.
And there's Invincible.
I'll try and do that as well.
There's my pencil. Johnny's going to draw tonight. Johnny,
I swear I'm going to draw. Yes.
Johnny, known mostly for his verbal acuity, is going to be trying his hand at dexteral acuity.
Sure.
Is that a thing? Is that an actual word? It is?
Let's say so.
Nice.
For our purposes, yes.
As always, this is a very easygoing podcast show thing.
Lots of spoilers.
Lots of spoilers. We will be talking about lots of spoilers. So if you don't want any spoilers, yeah, you're definitely in the wrong place. So we're going to talk about a whole bunch of stuff.
We'll talk about that Hugh Jackman special appearance.
Oh, wait. I fell asleep through some of it. Did he show up, actually?
What I just said?
No,
I was going to say, April Fool.
That was yesterday.
I know.
Time delay. Blame it on daylight savings.
So I asked Johnny to be on the show, and he said he was going to do some coloring, but he surprised me today and said he was actually going to do some drawing. So I'm excited for this.
Yeah, I mean, I thought about it, man, and I'm like, people want to see drawing, and I'm like, if I try really hard and I'm, constantly look at my references, I'll figure it out. Like, or close enough. I mean, you'll see. I did a dry run and attempted something, and we'll show it. Sorry, I'm grabbing a drink.
I like it. He's in the fridge. I like it. It's awesome.
All right, I want stupid stuff here. So I gotta clean my face.
So if anybody out there has any questions or comments, feel free to leave them. We are streaming to you live right now on YouTube, on the Yeah Comics YouTube channel. We are on my Facebook page. We are on I Like Pink Very Much Lois, and we are also on Twitch because Periscope is no more. So we're on Twitch.
What's strange, Francis?
Tell me.
I've been posting since, hi, everybody. I've been posting at Periscope since the 31st, and for whatever reason, it still works, which is awesome because, Twitter is my biggest platform, and I always want to just let people know, hey, I'm broadcasting, numbskulls.
Right.
And right now it still works, so I don't know when they're going to actually turn off the lights, but for now, I mean, it still works in my Twitter feed, and people can see it.
I went to with Wayne right before we came on. I went to go broadcast over there, and it looked like it was blank, and there was nothing there. So maybe that's from the StreamYard thing. I'm not sure, but I decided just for safety reasons, I would go over to Twitch and broadcast on Twitch. But we are on the other places. So
because earlier this afternoon, I want to make sure. I thought so. They actually did have. Me up there when I was expecting Rob Paulson today, the great Yakko and Pinky from Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah,
and unfortunately he had to postpone. So I talked for like a half hour and then went off. But it was broadcasting. But maybe they finally turned it off. I don't know.
It's possible. Oh, that's sad that Rob had to cancel out.
Yeah. So here I'm going to while you guys are getting started. Wayne, do you draw on this or no? Do you just hang out?
I can draw.
I'm just. Well, I know you can, but I'm saying, do you draw? Like on the show?
At times, I can draw.
Okay.
Depends on what you want me to draw.
Am I sharing yet? Hold on. There we go. Share. And here is. There we go. Can you see it?
No, it's not on here.
No.
No.
I hate when that happens. How about okay now? Share. Boom. Oh nope, that's you again.
Yep. Yeah, that's where it goes to me. But you got to put on the.
Right. I know. I suck at this, kids. I'm sorry.
When you share your screen, just share that app or that window.
Well, again, easy for you to say, and that's what I've been trying. How about now?
Oh, there it is. Hold on.
Okay,
yep.
Awesome. So yeah, boom.
So this is Johnny. Johnny's drawing. Oh, it looks like him.
Kind of, a little bit.
Were you doing a self-portrait?
I worked at. Oh, you think it looks like me? That's hilarious.
CC Beck would be happy.
Literally, Wayne. That's I'm like Googling images of Captain Marvel from CC Beck, and I'm like, well, if I get the eyebrows and the eyes kind of close, like it'll look a little bit like him and everything, and yeah. So.
Oh, you could do also Fred McMurray.
That's true. Well, you're right, Chip, but that's more complicated. That's why I want to do like as simple of like faces that I can think of, and that way it'll make it easier.
Isn't that what Alex Ross uses? Fred McMurray and Sal Abinati combination.
Yeah, if Sal and Fred McMurray had a baby. Won't June Havoc be surprised? That's Fred McMurray's wife, Mrs. Fred McMurray.
Mrs. Fred McMurray.
He did good. Holy shit! I never knew that before. I didn't know she was going to be another famous person, Mrs. Fred McMurray. And way to go, Fred. She was hot. June Havoc.
Good for her.
What up, kids? Ooh, I like that. Oh, that's the hair. I like it. At first, I'm like, he's drawing a rose, but no, it's the hair.
It's a weird, quirky thing with me. I always have to start with the head when I draw.
All right.
And then move it down. I can't draw. Other people can draw like a fist or the body or something like that first. I can't. I always have to start with the head and the eyes and stuff, or I can't draw anything. It's weird. It's a weird, quirky thing. Or I don't know if that's every artist, but it's me. That's what I know.
I like it.
And I'm using my new overhead camera. I have a document camera now, so that's what I'm using. So it's not even my phone anymore. We've hit the big time here, Johnny.
Wow.
Yeah.
I like it. Like it a lot.
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to start a new. I'll start a new drawing.
So let's start Invincible. What did you guys think? Because that's new on Amazon Prime from your friend and my acquaintance that I've run into once or twice, and he would know me from Adam, Robert Kirkman.
Yeah.
And he's got another show that people may have possibly heard called The Walking Dead. Ooh, Johnny decided to leave.
No, I'm still here. I just didn't. People don't need to watch me eating.
Oh, that's true. So he's got another show that people may have heard of called The Walking Dead. So we're not sure about that, but he's got this show now too. And this is his comic series, Invincible.
I have a feeling that subsequent Robert Kirkman productions, TV-wise, are going to be at Amazon. I think. I think AMC. AMC has kind of shown its limitations, not only on Walking Dead. They're certainly doing a good job, but Mad Men. Matthew Weiner, the creator of Mad Men, was really disappointed with the way he was being treated for Mad Men. And I think Robert is probably got a better deal with Amazon, and now that he's got his feet wet in television and stuff. But I loved it. I'll confess, and by all means, everybody, if you want to talk about it, I'm cool to talk about Invincible. I don't mind the other episodes being spoiled. I didn't realize there'd be 3 more to watch, and I didn't realize all the parts were like 40 minutes long. And I'm like, oh. Mm-hmm. But I love the first part, and I think the casting is really good. And I like the simple animation. It kind of fits Corey Walker and Ryan Otley's style. And what I like, it didn't drive me nuts, but it really was simplistic to look at the comics back in the day. And the designs work great on the animated series.
Yeah, I was talking to Wayne right before we came on, and we were talking about how it really does look like the comic.
Yeah.
But animation-wise, I don't know if it translates for me. I like the series. I love the story. And I watched all 4 episodes. I just don't know that the animation lends itself. You know what it is? It doesn't have that classic animated look. It looks very computerized, very I don't know,
I hear
flat.
you.
You know? I
Yeah.
don't know.
Yeah.
What did you think, Wayne?
It is very clean. That's what we were talking about. That it just doesn't have like the feel of like older animation. That look, there was a life to it when you were looking at it. Because again, it's probably because it was more hand drawn. That there was more of an aspect of some faults or not. It wasn't totally perfect. This is perfect rendering, perfect drawing. Everything is so perfect. So it could probably sometimes when it's so perfect, it'll take you out of what it's supposed to be, especially when you're dealing with an animated feature.
Yeah, what Wayne said.
Yeah,
Wayne,
I don't know. I mean, I'm used to DC animation being kind of clean and simplistic. Although the last few movies have gotten into more shadowy kind of looks and everything. So you're right about that, Wayne. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't pay attention to see what animation studio is making it from a production standpoint.
And there was parts of it where there was the Linda, right? Is the wife?
Yes.
Yes.
Linda and
Omni-Man.
They're sitting in a cafe, and it looked like he was still injured because of the shading that they were using on the animation with his skin. If you look at the pigments of the skin color, there was a discoloration. So it almost looked like he was still injured, but he wasn't, because they also had the same type of trying to do like a shading effect on Linda. And it sort of threw me out and going, are they sick?
Right.
They were trying to do shading, but it didn't look like it worked.
Yeah. Some of that, the animation does throw me on there, but I don't know. I'm digging the story a lot.
Yeah, and that's what I focus on too, man. I mean, I gave up on modern animation years ago, and when it's good, that's awesome. But when it's not, it's like, all right. I mean, will the story hold me? And yeah, it's a great adaptation. I was surprised at how much blood there was.
Oh yeah, it's not for kids.
It is rated like 16. Yeah, no, it really isn't. But that's the thing, man. Like, especially for most of the first episode, you're like, all right, fine. It's kind of like watching a G.I. Joe from the 80s or something like that. And then all of a sudden, at the end when he takes on the Guardians, and it, holy shit. I mean, that's a lot of blood, sir.
Yeah.
It's a lot of decapitation, sir.
Again,
for
spoilers.
Like for the first 35 minutes, it felt like something you could show to your nephew.
Right.
And then the last 5 minutes, you're going, no.
Yeah. My nephews are in their 20s. They could handle it, but still. That was great. My sister was really, and they're her sons. I'm totally fine. But I mean, she really like clamped down, and even PG-13, she'd kind of be, I don't know, what do you think? And I'm like, I think they're kids and they're going to see it no matter what you try. So good luck. But, and again, I always refer to myself as Uncle Buck, and I am. Really. And
did you ever make a big giant pancake with a shovel?
No, but I could. But I have they'd come over and, Oscar Madison at his finest and stuff. And this is when they were little boys. They'd come to my apartments and they'd be like, hey, there's coin. Like, forget about gloves, loose change on the floor and stuff. And they're like, there's change on the floor. I'm like, anything you find on the floor, money wise, it's yours.
Oh, boy.
They were like so happy, like treasure hunt. This is great. So, because
you're walking out of your apartment with like shoes and sweatpants and cigar butts and it
smells like old socks, but other than that, it's really Uncle John's place is really cool. So yeah, but now they're old enough, and once they hit 16, she's like, all right, you're right, and especially when the youngest one hit 16, I'm like, I have so much to show you. This is called The Matrix. Watch this, shit like that. So yeah, it was hilarious. They're good kids, and now they tell me about stuff like they're the ones who told me about Pete Holmes, the comedian, And they're like, Pete Holmes is really funny. And I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot or whatever. And I'm like, oh, Pete Holmes is funny. That's awesome. Because they liked Andy Milonakis. Remember Andy Milonakis from and stuff?
I never understood that guy either.
It's generational, I guess. They thought he was a riot. He's this guy, Wayne, who has that disease where you kind of still look like a kid, even though you're an adult. And he looked like a 12-year-old kid, and even his voice didn't change and stuff. And he's in that movie Waiting with Dean, what's his face, the stand-up that everybody hated. Kids loved him, but all the adult stand-ups hated him.
Dane Cook.
Dane Cook, yes. So he's in Waiting with Dane Cook, among other things. But yeah, so I'm like, I don't know about your guys' taste in comedy if you like Andy Milonakis, but they've grown up and they know their stuff.
Nowadays, it's that Eric Andre guy, or it was a few years ago anyway, because my son was really into him. Who was it?
Stand-up wise?
Well, he has a show on Cartoon Network, and I guess
like, is that Tim and Eric of Eric?
No.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
No, Tim and Eric was different guys. Eric Andre had like almost like a talk show, but it's a spoof talk show, and it's weird. Like I tried to watch an episode, I don't understand anything. Go ahead.
I just lost who he was. He was married to Drew Barrymore. He's Ottawa boy. Tom Green.
Tom
It was
Green,
like the Tom Green show. Like it's very low production value, and he always opens up the episode by running in and smashing the set. And then they clear everything off, and then they bring someone out. And he does the most ridiculous stunts.
Yeah, it's crazy town. But
I'm looking him up right now. Okay, I kind of know who he is, but not really. I didn't know he was married to Drew Barrymore. That's crazy.
Oh no, Tom Green was.
Oh, that I knew.
Yeah, no, not Eric. No.
Okay.
But up here we had the Tom Green show.
Yeah.
He was on our local cable network.
I remember him, yeah.
Yeah, he was good. That was good. That was funny.
Yeah, I lost it when he drank out of the cow's udder or something. Didn't he do that?
Yeah.
He did that somewhere.
Yeah, I'm glad I missed that one. So.
Yeah.
I like Canadian comedy. I like Wayne, I think I've told you before, I really like Ken Finkelman, the guy who did The Newsroom and More Tears, and he sadly directed Airplane 2. But then on the other side, he also directed one of my favorite 80s comedies, Head Office, with Judge Reinhold, and where it's all at the corporation. It's a great 80s movie. Everybody, Rick Moranis is in it. DeVito is in it. Don Novello, Father Sarducci's in it. Gene Seymour is in it. Eddie Albert's the bad guy. He's in charge of this big conglomerate corporation called INC. And oh my God, it's so funny. I think it's really smart and really funny. And Judge Reinhold is kind of the young lead. This is it's after Diner, but like kind of in that same period when he did the body twist episode, or him and Fred Savage.
Yeah. What was his called?
Or whatever.
What was his called again? I forget.
Like Father, Like Son, maybe? No, that's Ted Danson and Kirk Cameron.
Yeah.
God, there's like a whole genre.
Yeah, there was Big. Definitely everybody knows that one, but there was a whole there was the Fred Savage one. There was with Judge Reinhold. There was a couple other ones, wasn't there?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, like Father, Like Son. Oh, there was also the one with Dudley Moore and his son, and I can't remember who Dudley Moore's son was in that one. Dudley Moore one is a body swap one. The one I'm thinking of with actually it was Kirk Cameron in the Dudley Moore one.
Yeah, I was going to say I thought it was that one with Dudley Moore.
Yeah. Okay, where the hell is it? I'm looking up his filmography. Oh,
filmography. Yeah,
as opposed to bibliography.
We're gonna actually go back and relate all of this to Invincible somehow.
Sure we will,
because there's gonna
we'll get back to it. Yeah. The hell was it called?
Yeah.
Where is it? Oh, I'm still in the 2000s for his movies. Okay, back in the 80s, back in the day. After Beverly Hills Cop and Cop 2, I believe.
That's right, because he was in that.
Yeah. I don't know if he's in the third one.
He was in Fast Times. He was in Fast Times at Ridgemont.
Yeah, that was one of the first ones. Boy, oh boy.
Mm.
The great Phoebe Cates.
Who was married to Kevin Kline still.
Yes, yes. She basically like quit showbiz to just be Mrs. Kevin Kline.
I think she did one or two other things too after that. A couple of things.
Because she did. Last thing I remember seeing her in was Drop Dead Fred.
Oh, God.
And the Judge Reinhold Fred Savage body swapping movie. That would be Vice Versa, everybody.
Vice Versa. I remember that.
Sure.
Right. Mm-hmm. Vice Versa. Oh,
Crap.
Louise.
Oh, my God. All right. I'm starting my new drawing.
Jeez Louise, Vice Versa. I remember that.
But Invincible, I love that J.K. Rowling is Omni-Man.
J.K. Simmons.
J.K. Simmons. It's not J.K. Rowling.
No, it could be J.K. Rowling on steroids.
Oh, it's true.
She quit writing Harry Potter stuff and got everybody angry. So now she can
went to voice animation.
Exactly.
And now she's Omni-Man. Hello. It could happen.
Yeah. Yeah, the voice cast is like superb, right?
Yeah.
Did he like Glenn from Walking Dead so much that he had to have him as Invincible?
He's good.
He's good though.
Yeah, well, that's what D. Brad says, that a lot of the voice actors came from The Walking Dead. If you look at the cast listing.
How many voice actors are there from that?
Well, we will check.
Now I want to know.
You want to know.
And welcome, D. Brad. How are you?
Yeah, he says hi to special shout out to John.
Thanks, Brad.
He couldn't figure out that it was 18 plus until the end of the first episode.
That's a hell of a way to find out, right?
Yeah.
And again, when we were talking about the animation style and design, he says it's very similar to the DC animated movies.
Yeah, well, I have a problem with those as well. I mean, I like a lot of those stories too, because the stories are good, but I don't know, it just seems like almost like I don't think it's fair to say it this way, but it almost looks like low budget animation, right?
I know what you mean. No, I hear you.
You know, I guess because I don't know, even like you know, well, you compare it to the Disney movies that are hand drawn or you know, computer assisted. They have a lot of texture to them and stuff. I'm not even talking about the Pixar stuff. I'm talking about the other movies that are like the regular animation Disney ones. And I get you're not going to get that kind of quality with a big budget movie, but there is other stuff like, I don't know, Rick and Morty kind of has a little bit more depth to them. Well, or maybe that's not a fair comparison, but maybe Venture Brothers has good animation.
Yeah.
Right.
Sure.
And this looks cheaper than that almost. And I don't think that's a fair word, but I'm going to use it. I'm going to say cheaper, if you know what I mean.
I do.
You know.
I'm clocking 3 so far from Walking Dead.
What does that mean?
Oh, 4.
Three voice actors from Walking Dead over on the.
Oh, I see. Thank you. Sorry.
6. I'm up to 6.
Oh boy.
Well, that's cool. Good.
7.
Oh.
Oh, there was a bunch in the first episode. That's why.
Well, and thank God for animation. You know, you don't really notice that. You just hear the voices, so it could be anybody.
Right.
Yeah. Basically, the Global Guardians in the first episode were the Walking Dead cast.
Oh, really?
That's awesome. That's really good stunt casting. I like that. Although I keep going back and forth with live actors doing voiceover versus the great voiceover artists because, you know, God, I mean, you know, like the aforementioned Rob Paulson, my buddy Susan Eisenberg, and it kind of, especially when in the early 2000s, when like Brad Pitt and I forget who else did Titan AE. And I'm like, do you really need Brad Pitt to be an animated voice? Really?
And then they sell those movies overseas, but they're allowed to link the name, like Jack Black or Brad Pitt, even though it's a completely different voice that's doing those.
Yeah. Did you guys watch last summer when DC did Fandom? They had all the different foreign language actors that played Batman. And it was really fun. Yeah, it was really fun, like getting to see who they are and how cool they are and stuff. It was very interesting. Very interesting.
Oh.
So
now that Fandom stuff was only up for a little while before they
Yeah, I'm kind of bummed that they took it down. It's like, guys, what are you doing? But whatever. Not my job, man.
Yeah. I believe that.
Oh man, this Barney Rubble is not starting off very well.
Oh man, Barney Rubble.
Yeah, I'm trying. Right. That's what I'm trying. As simple as possible. I'm really going for.
Here's my Invincible. Here, I'll give you a better shot. Here's my full Invincible.
Like it a lot. Yeah, no, you know what you're doing. This will like it'll take me 2 hours to do this Barney Rubble.
You might have a career, Franco. I'm not too sure.
Now this is from the last couple of weeks of inviting all these artists who are much faster than me, like Scoot drawing like 15 guys as opposed to my one. This is how I balance things out. I invite Johnny on to draw.
Remedial drawing, exactly.
So it makes me look really fast.
I'm using colors. All right, that's great, John. Fantastic.
So did it bother you, or not bother? I guess that's not the right word, but was it a thing that it didn't follow the comics?
Not at all.
At all?
No, I like when they don't follow the comics because we should be surprised and enjoy it as a new thing. So that makes me happy, frankly.
Me as well. Well, sometimes I'm annoyed when the story is bad.
I can appreciate that. Yeah.
When the story for this is so good, I'm like, ooh, because it didn't drop off in later episodes.
No,
and I have a feeling I know what's coming with some stuff, but then I could be wrong, and I like that. I like to possibly be wrong. You know what I mean? No,
I do.
I
do. I get it.
Yeah, no, it was the subsequent episodes, John, you're going to like them. They're really, I've never read the comics, but I could tell.
That's surprising.
Yeah, no, it's just one that I did recently pick them up on the Comixology sale. So I have all the omnibuses now. So I sit down at one point to read them. But no, it was a book I never picked up. Heard of it, saw it. You saw it in the stores.
Sure.
And it's very identifiable. Otley's designs are just impressive.
Agreed. And again, that's why I think it lends itself to this style of animation very well. And no, honestly, and also just from the writing standpoint, again, Robert understood, and whoever's doing the scripting for these episodes, it's great because it really gets into the subtext of Superman and Lois, and and also the idea of really, the elevator pitch, I'm sure, was what if Spider-Man was Superman's son? I mean, you could tell. I mean, there's a lot of Peter Parker in Invincible, obviously, and I always appreciated just the interplay between the characters, and it's good that they kind of made the turn quicker for this first season and stuff with Omni-Man and everything. And yeah, it's there's a real darkness to it, and obviously there was in the comic as well. Yeah, it's cool.
For such a dark series, it's very bright.
Right.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah.
No, I get it. And honestly, that was the problem with the first season of Powers when it was on Sony on PlayStation and everything. And it's like, dude, this is all about shadows and alleyways and very urban and stuff. And I mean, they were shooting in Atlanta, and it's like, hey, here's bright sunlight everywhere. And even when they would do like the superhero scenes, it was in like broad daylight. And it's like, I don't know, man. Noir should be a lot more shadowy. The hell do I know? They changed it in the second season.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, they did. Yeah, they got a new art director and cinematographer. I mean, I like even Brian, like, you know, hey, everything's great. But even like, yeah, he's like, yeah, we're leaning more into our noir background with this second season. And he's like, we made this change in production and this change in production. And, you know, it was getting better.
Is that going to show up anywhere at all? Or is it still,
it was
no
on
platform
Crackle
right now, right?
Yeah, it was. I don't know if it's still on Crackle or not. That's Sony's free streamer with commercials and everything. I don't know. You know, Brian's moving on. He's got a couple shows in development at HBO Max. That thing that he did with David Mack, Cover, is going to be made into an animated series, which makes a lot of sense. And also, I believe, is it Pearl? It's either Pearl or
Scarlet.
Maybe it was Scarlet. I know Scarlet was in development years ago. I don't know if it still is or not. And it would make sense, God, with all the demonstrations and everything. Maybe that's why they're like, yeah, too close to home. I don't think people want to be entertained with what they're seeing on the news, sadly, every day. What's the other one? So there's Scarlet, Cover. There's Pearl, which I loved. I thought that was an amazing series. Oh, no, it was Naomi. They announced Naomi, the DC hero that he and David Walker introduced.
Oh, for HBO Max?
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So that'll be cool. But yeah, unfortunately, you guys are going to have to carry the load as far as what's happening with Invincible. I will catch up, though, because, again, I really enjoyed what I saw.
Well, from what I've seen so far, it's well written. There's no doubt about it that they're taking the material and they're not trying to cheapen it in any way.
Yep.
They're trying to write it to an adult audience.
Yep.
So it's not trying to boil it down to something that's more palatable to the masses. I think it, until I read the books, I can't make an honest judgment. But the way that it's playing out, I'm sure it's playing out similar to the way the comics were written. So
absolutely, definitely,
it does deviate a lot from a lot. It deviates enough from the comics where there's differences with things, and I'm liking that. As I said, because it's not. You know, there's a couple of things that already happened where I'm like, oh, that's something that, you know, never took place in the comics, and by at this point, this has already happened. You know, like where you know, the dad has turned, and it was much later in the comics, but here you find out right away, type thing. So, you know, I'm digging it so far. I really am.
Well, I'm assuming that it's keeping the tone of the comic book.
Totally.
And that's why it's nice to see that they're not deviating, because I know Franco and I started watching Resident Alien, and I actually read the books, and it has the concept of what an alien is on this planet, but that's about it. It has the characters, but it doesn't really. It's not even close to what the comic was.
That's the problem when they have celebrities playing a character that's either fully masked, or in the case of Resident Alien, that, you know, you see that he's got the alien face, and it's like, it's Alan Tudyk. We're paying for Alan Tudyk.
Right.
We want to show Alan Tudyk, and so then they kind of change it.
Oh, but it's not even the appearance of the alien. It's just the whole story is different than the comic books.
You know, I mean, again, I don't know how much Steve Moore, isn't it Steve Moore? Didn't he do it?
Parkhouse, isn't it?
Oh, was it Parkhouse? Okay. I thought it was one of the Moores, but yeah, it was probably Stephen Parkhouse, right?
Yeah, I'm checking that out.
Yeah. Yeah, you know, a lot of times they option a thing and completely change it. And it's like,
Peter Hogan and Steve Parkhouse.
That's right. Peter Hogan was who I was thinking of. Yes. Even though he doesn't have Moore in his name. Yeah. I know.
No more talk about plumbers. We're not going down that road again.
No, that's a different show.
I don't know what that meant, but all right.
That's Alan Moore.
Yes. Oh, excuse me. Of course, plumbing out of the toilet. Shame on me. I didn't realize. You got esoteric on me, Wayne. I didn't realize what you were talking about.
Just a callback.
No, it's a good callback. Back to Barney.
But yeah, no. I'm looking forward to seeing where this goes.
Yeah.
Because
I
if it
enjoyed
makes me
the
interested
comics.
in wanting to read the comic, then it's doing something right.
Yeah, I enjoyed the comics very much. I gotta admit, I lent my comics to someone and then never got them back, and I can't remember who I lent them to, so that's on me. But I got to a certain point, and then kind of just dropped off reading, just because I've dropped off everything reading, just because of the nature of how things work. But I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed the comic, and I'm enjoying the series very much so far as well. Very much so. Much so.
Ooh, we got a question.
Yeah.
All the way from Skokie.
Oh man.
A certain Skokie Spider would like to know, how badly would you guys like to see Perfect Stranger star Mark Lynn Baker and Bronson Pinchot team up for a Wonder Twins pitcher?
Well, who's the girl in that one?
He didn't say. This is where you can cast.
I don't know. You know, I liked Mark Lynn Baker in My Favorite Year. I have seen that movie well over 25 times, probably more. I saw it 7 times in the theater. That's how much I love that movie. And he was the star of that. I really hated him on purpose. and I like Bronson Pinchot in Beverly Hills Cop. No, they were ridiculous.
And then you really hated him on.
But man, I really hated Perfect Strangers. I don't know. I'm too old. It was too whack. It was Laverne and Shirley, and I didn't like Laverne and Shirley the first time. To me,
Well, it was very, but it was a very TGIF audience. That's what it was built for.
Yeah. I didn't watch Just the 10 of Us either.
Now, Just the 10 of Us.
Bill Kirkenbaum.
Yeah, I loved that show.
Did you?
I loved. See, loved
there's
that show.
There's the generational break and everything, because I'm sure, like TGI Friday, I'm like, okay, I watched Brady Bunch and Partridge Family when I was a little kid. This is their shows.
There was a bunch of TGIF stuff I didn't watch, but Just the 10 of Us, I love that show, and I don't remember how many seasons they had, but I watched all of them. I don't know if Mr. Belvedere was a TGIF show.
What's that?
I watched that for sure.
Skoke is laughing right now as well, because anytime we hear Mr. Belvedere, we think of Gilbert Gottfried. I heard that one time I was shooting a show and they made a PA announcement for the whole studio that Christopher, whatever his name was, Christopher Hewitt, had to be taken away by ambulance. He just sat on his balls.
Oh my gosh.
And having sat on my own balls once or twice.
Oh, why?
It hurts. Well, why? Because, it just felt like the thing to do at the moment.
Well, yeah. Just be aware.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I don't know.
This is probably why you lose your headphones a lot. You're just not aware of where they are.
I was probably like, wow.
Man.
Whoa! Boy, that killed that buzz very quickly. What the hell?
Just the 10 of Us lasted only for 3 seasons.
Yep. See, I knew it wasn't more than 2. It wasn't more than 2, but there was some crushes on that show.
It had the girl from Freddy Krueger. Nightmare on Elm Street.
Yep. Landing Camp or something like that.
Yeah, Heather Landing Camp.
Yeah, see? I know this stuff.
Good name.
You know this stuff.
I don't know why I can remember it. It had her, and then there was the redhead that was on the show. I had a crush on her. Yeah, there was a bunch of stuff there happening.
A lot of adolescent crushes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Just the 10 of Us. Jeez, I haven't thought about that show till you just mentioned it. Ever. Because like in conversation, some of those other shows like Balky and Perfect Strangers or Mr. Belvedere, Full House, those will come up in conversation, but just the 10 of Us never does.
How about Patrick Duffy's fine show, Step by Step? Wasn't that the one with him and
Suzanne Summers? Yeah. I remember that show.
After Three's Company and her middle show, She's the Sheriff. That was a terrible syndicated sitcom she did.
That's right.
Oh, I was listening to the Johnny Carson podcast that I love, and they had this writers roundtable of guys that wrote for the Tonight Show, but they wrote for other shows. And among them, do you remember in the 80s on USA, Don Adams had a show called Check It Out, and he was like the manager of like a convenience store.
No,
it was based on a British show, and it was just horrible.
That's probably why I don't remember it.
I mean, you know, because like, oh, it's Maxwell Smart, great. Oh,
yeah, it was filmed in Canada.
Yes, it was. That a boy, Wayman. I knew that. I wanted to see if you were going to pick up on that.
Well, yeah, because it was filmed in what's the area of Toronto? It'll come to me. Yeah, because he lived in the area.
There you go. Don Adams, weird guy. I mean, I love Get Smart, but not the nicest guy apparently.
Oh, really?
Show business, yeah. And also, I didn't realize Bill Dana, the guy who created Jose Jimenez and had a big hit with that in the '60s, he pretty much gave Don Adams his whole shtick. He's the guy who came up with "Would You Believe?" I mean, Don Adams would do the poor man William Powell, imitation in his nightclub act. Inspector, would you believe? But I missed it by that much. All that stuff was all done by Bill Dana. But anyway, this show, so this crappy Check It Out show, horrible show, absolutely horrible.
Hey,
show writer,
it counts for Canadian content.
Exactly. Hey, man, that's all, and I'm sure it employed many Canadian crew and actors. God bless them. That's great. That said, though, the two guys on the Tonight Show, they were writing for it, and the producers didn't like them. They fired them, and the show ended up getting nominated for an Emmy. And Adams went back to the producer like, okay, so the guys you fired just got nominated for an Emmy. And we're stuck with these guys that are writing crap. And it's like, uh-huh.
Wow.
So, Don Adams, good friends with Jimmy Caan, because we're tight, and Don Rickles. Who knew?
Not me.
Brad has a question.
Yeah.
You want to know, did you happen to catch Bronson's one-season alien sitcom called Mego?
No.
All
Wow.
right.
I also blew off the direct-to-video Laurel and Hardy movie they made with him where he played Stan Laurel, like the Stan Laurel character. I'm assuming they were called Stan and Ollie. But it was, like them doing... Like when they remade the Three Stooges with Will Sasso and everybody. And Sean, whatever his name was. Sean Hayes.
Yeah, I definitely did not see this. Wow.
Who's in it? Anybody else terrible?
Okay. Ed Begley Jr.
Oh, boy.
I like Ed Begley Jr.
Michelle Trachtenberg.
I like Michelle Trachtenberg.
Wasn't she the sister on Buffy?
Yep, Dawn.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I bet she was like a little kid before Buffy. What year was Meagle or whatever the hell it was called?
1997.
Oh, geez.
Oh, yeah, it was before Buffy. Yeah.
Never even heard of this thing.
She must have been
wow. That's a good one, Brad. Whew.
Wow.
Good reach.
Yeah, how did you even think of that or come up with it? Or were you like its only fan?
Don't you remember crappy shows that only lasted like half a season?
Sometimes, but they weren't that bad. Come on.
Well, again, whatever you like land on. I remember Quark, not to be confused with Deep Space Nine Quark, but it was the
Garbage Gal.
Yes, the sci-fi parody of Star Trek that Richard Benjamin did.
Was it the Landry sisters?
Yes, it was. No. It was not Landry sisters or Lander sisters. It was two other beautiful twins that later were in, I believe this was a Canadian production, a great Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman movie. How often do you say that? And it was called The Ratings Game. And Danny DeVito plays like a mob guy that wants to take his money from the family and become a TV star. And Rhea Perlman works for like the Nielsen ratings company. And to get back at her jerk boss, she makes his terrible show like a national hit according to the ratings. She manipulates the ratings and stuff, but it's hilarious. He plays. He recast the show with himself playing the lead, and he's supposed to be this like country club kid starting college, and like in a Three's Company kind of accident, he's rooming with two identical blonde twins, and it's great because his name's like Chip Carrington or something like that. But he's totally like playing into his Italian and stuff, and he walks in and he sees the two girls, and he goes, "Baron." It's a terrible movie. It's on YouTube. I love this movie. It's so bad. And Michael Richards is in it. There's a lot of great comedians in the movie. It's called The Ratings Game. It's terrible, but it's so worth watching. It's very funny.
Well, how many other Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman vehicles can you now name now?
Well, of course, they were in Taxi together.
Matilda.
I forgot about Matilda. Yes.
Oh.
Is there more? I think that's it.
No, I think that's it. I just wanted to throw out Matilda because I remembered Matilda.
Matilda, awesome.
Because the girl from Matilda often credits them for being very nice to her and opening up their home to her and everything.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So we have the Barnstable sisters, Patricia and Sib, on Quark.
Thank you. I believe that's them. I think if you look them up.
Yeah, I have them up.
I'm sure they're in that movie, The Ratings Game.
Oh, they're in the Ratings Game too? Wow.
Yes. They're the co-eds that Danny DeVito's rooming with. Maron!
Well, the reason we bring this up is because Danny DeVito and Rhea Perlman are going to be on a future episode of Invincible, I believe. Right, Wayne?
Exactly.
Sure. Everyone's going to be on Invincible at some point.
They're playing little people supervillains, yes.
Oh, man.
Because they're just naturally small. Thank you.
Oh, Franco, D. Brad really loves your Invincible drawing.
Oh, thanks, man. Appreciate it. It's getting there.
And his other question is, other than Gilbert and the Johnny Carson podcast, what other podcasts does John listen to?
Oh, my God. Let me consult my phone and tell you guys in a moment. Maron. I'm going to be saying Maron for the rest of the night. I just want to warn everybody.
Oh, just to warn everybody, D. Brad considers himself a human old TV guide.
Oh, man.
Boy, Brad. Very nice. I listen to many shows, including Malton on Movies, where Leonard Malton and his daughter have guests on talking about their favorite.
He's still alive?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'm going to sneeze. Stand by. And you'll get to hear my famous trumpet light.
Bless you.
Thank you.
I forgot to tell you. I don't think I ever mentioned this to you, but I met Leonard Maltin.
Really?
Yeah. He was if I'm remembering correctly, because I think so. I think it was in the gallery that I was involved with for a little while.
Okay.
He came in and he was with his daughter.
Oh, wow.
And he was a little bit, kind of
was he kind of douchey?
Confused a little bit.
Well, that's okay.
Yeah. But his daughter was kind of like, guiding him around and everything, and it was exciting because I recognized him right away. I'm like, I know who you are. Yeah.
How old is he? Because he's on a really early. Well, he was young when he did Dick Cavett in the early '70s, and was more a film historian back then. And he wrote great biographical books about a lot of the silent stars and the early comedy people and stuff. All right, let's see. How old is Leonard Maltin? He's 70. He's only 70. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I'm like, I don't think he's that old per se, but who knows? I like Inglorious Treksperts. It's my favorite Star Trek podcast where Mark Altman and many people get together. And there's a guy, Darren Dockerman, who does the best Gene Roddenberry, and I've learned how to do it listening to him. When we conceived the show, Leonard Nimoy, who had worked for me on a show called The Lieutenant, was quite good. And Bill Shatner, of course, I knew from Judgment in Nuremberg and many other early projects. That's my G1 virtually. I listen to Bill Burr's Monday morning podcast. I think that's very funny. I listen to Mark Maron's show, What the F, and I just like everybody, I'm sure with interview shows, I cherry pick. If I'm interested in the guest, then I'll listen. Joe Rogan has an incredible show. I have to admit, since he's moved it to Spotify, I have to remind myself to like go and look up current guests, but it's still an incredible show. And that guy's depth of knowledge and curiosity blows me away. I mean, I used to think of Joe Rogan as like 90s Tony Danza because of the way he was on news radio.
Right.
Yeah, do you mind? But is it okay?
There's a show I really like too. That was a good show. I liked it. Yeah,
news radio is really great. But no, I mean, honestly, and I wasn't a big Fear Factor guy. I'm like, I don't need to see people eating bull penises on TV.
Yeah, no.
But no, I do like his interviews when I'm interested in the guest. I listen to Gilbert, like I said. Larry Wilmore is amazing, and I loved when he was on the Daily Show, and I liked his show that was on after the Daily Show, and he continues to do incredible interviews on Black on the Air. Very funny. Dana Gould, massive fan of his show. So there's like a ton right there, guys. And of course, my favorite old-time Hollywood show, You Must Remember This, Katrina Longworth digs up these incredible real stories about Hollywood, and they're amazing. So there you go. There's a nice list of.
We have another question from Skokie Spidey.
Yeah.
If Franco and Johnny formed a band together, what kind of music would they make?
Not very good music.
Yeah, we'd focus on bad 80s songs like Who's Zooming Who.
And then Johnny would want to always insert big band stuff.
I'm not a big band guy.
Yeah, because you're old Hollywood, so that's how I assume that you.
Well, I like old Hollywood, but yeah, although I always say, okay, so we're in the 2020s now, and looking back 40 years for us is the 80s, and I always do the math, and I always do realize that my father in the 80s was talking about his favorite big bands from the 40s and the 30s in the 80s when I was a kid, and I'm like, oh my God, I've become my father. As Stu, that looks great, man. That is awesome. Kirkman should hire you to do an alternate cover.
Oh, that's okay.
No, it looks very much like Cory Walker and Otley in the way they drew it back in the day. I'd like to see it do an Omni Man.
He's got that stash.
I know. It's awesome. He's got G. Gordon Liddy, who just died this week.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he was 90. He had a good run. He made it to 90.
Yeah.
My thing is, if you make it past 85, it's like you won.
Yeah.
For real, And I know I've told Franco. I don't know if I've ever told you, Wayne. My aunt, my surrogate mother in a lot of ways, because my mom passed away young, and she really helped raise me and stuff. She made it to 98, and she was hilarious. And back in school, I'm sorry if people have heard this before, but back when I came out of school, I had nowhere to go. So I went to she let me stay with her when I was getting on my feet and getting a real job and stuff. And she was 65 at the time. We're sitting at her kitchen table, and I was just thinking, I'm like, I don't know how many more years she's got left, and I kind of got misty-eyed. And she's like, "What's your problem?" And it was great because she was tough as nails. She's like, "What's your problem?" I'm like, I don't want to be rude. And I'm like, forgive me for saying this. I don't know how long you're going to be around. And she's like, "Hey, I'm not going anywhere." And I reminded her of this literally 30 years later when I'm 50, whatever, in my early 50s, and she's 95. I'm like, and you're still fucking here, Anita. I'm like, what the hell? She laughed, and it was great. My sister's completely mortified. And my aunt, she knew. And I'm just like, Anita gets it. Don't worry about it. But it's true. Oh, she was the best. She was so funny. Who does she remind me of? Some old actress. Oh, Nancy Walker. Rosie.
Oh, jeez.
With the bounty and everything, and Rhoda's mother and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching a Mary Tyler Moore, and Nancy Walker was on. I'm like, oh my God, it's like my Aunt Anita. That's amazing. Anyway.
There was Nancy Walker almost didn't she was Rhoda Morgenstern's mom, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, she was almost not cast as that because the producers didn't like the episode that she first appeared on the Mary Tyler Moore Show.
Oh, wow.
And they didn't want her on there. They didn't like the script or whatever. The producers went and filmed it anyway. And then they aired it. And it was such a big hit that's how she became a regular, not a regular, but a recurring person, and then a regular on the Rona Show.
Yeah. No, she was great. And Harold Gould was really funny as her father and everything. They were very cute as Rhoda's parents. Yeah, very funny.
Mm-hmm.
Harold Gould, much like Abe Vigoda, was like playing, men 30 years older than he really was.
Right.
For like the last 30 years of his life. It's like Abe Vigoda. It's like Harold Gould's still alive. Oh my God. He's got to be 120 now. So good stuff. Oh man.
Skokie has an observation that you guys might find interesting.
Please.
He says that Gene Roddenberry sounds like the Pepperidge Farm guys.
No, you mean more New England twang. Remember when your mother used to bake your pound cake? Yeah. She'd sit with the butter churn all day.
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
Exactly.
And D. Brad wants to know, Johnny, do you watch Dana Gould's Dr. Zayas show on YouTube?
Of course, Hanging with Dr. Z. Very funny. Absolutely. I think, honestly, my voice sounds more like Maurice Evans than Dana Gould's. I will blatantly say that because I do voices. But I love that they took if people haven't seen it, he's turned Dr. Zayas into like old showbiz guy who just constantly name drops. And it's like, don't find yourself in a gym game with Alan Alda. He cheats. Stupid stuff like that. He just like makes little asides there. The last time I did that, I was doing some summer stock with Sandy Duncan. She's a doll, and it just like says these stupid little things. I was in Picnic with a production with Rue McClanahan.
Rue McClanahan. Oh, geez.
And it's great because he finds weird like little voices or little names to drop like that. And one of the commercials on I think the very first episode of Hanging with Dr. Z, he does fake commercials, and it was about a line of salad dressings with Jamie Farr. And I wish I could rename the flavors of the salad dressing. Completely disgusting, like Lebanese arm hair. So, oh my God.
Man.
So good stuff. Good
As
stuff.
a segue to Falcon and Winter Soldier, Skokie would like to know, who would Gary Marshall cast as heroes or villains in the Marvel Universe?
Very good. Well, you got Kunis, of course. Kunis has to be, I don't know, who's dark and mysterious. Like, God, I can't think of any good Marvel. Everyone I'm thinking of is either redhead or blonde, per se.
She would be, yeah.
I don't know.
I was going to say maybe Hawkeye's wife, Mockingbird, but she's blonde.
Yeah,
did she wear a blonde wig, and wasn't she a brunette?
I don't know. I don't know. I always think of.
You're thinking of Black Canary.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, that's right.
Now,
okay, yeah.
Kunis would be a good Dinah Lance if I could cross universes. Yeah, I don't know. Let's see who else. Of course, Eddie Mecca would make a good Tony Stark. Eddie Mecca was Carmine the Big Ragu on Laverne and Shirley. He'd make a good Iron Man. You need a clean cut. You want like a Ron Howard to be like Captain America because, nice apple pie face. Got to dye his hair blonde like his daughter did. What the hell was that? So they hire redhead Kirsten Dunst and they dye her hair.
Right. And then they hired Bryce Dallas Howard and they dyed her hair.
And they dyed her hair. Made no sense. Stupid. Very stupid.
That's right. Sorry. There you go.
I've got those albums, those co-star albums, and I'm telling you, and I was like, oh, I got to do a scene where Gary Marshall is like, excuse me, my lord. Kind of like Tony Curtis in that one Knight in Shining Armor movie he made called The Black Shield of Falworth. Or, of course,
my leash.
Yeah. Yonder lies the castle of my father. That, or, of course, as we know, the leeches scene in Spartacus that's kind of homoerotic between him and Lawrence Olivier.
Oh, okay.
Are the leeches ready? Aye, my lord. Do you mind, my lord, if I readjust your loincloth? It's starting to slip a bit. I see the berries down there.
A young lad from the Cleveland area named Scoot would like to know, why isn't Johnny drawing R2D2?
I should draw it. That's the one that I drew when we were all at a convention one night. And it took a long time, but I did do it. I don't know, Scoot. I'm trying to get ambitious. I got the start of a Barney Rubble. I'll show you guys momentarily. Let's see.
It's coming together.
Mm-hmm.
You see it?
No, I don't see it.
Stand by.
You got to share the right screen.
I know. I suck. Suck really bad.
It's all right. You'll get there. It's all right.
Yeah, I know.
You're right there. Eat it. You'll be
fine.
fine.
Now? You see him there?
Yeah. Hold on.
I'll probably change that. Like
there he is.
Yeah, I'll change. Got to work on the shape of the head a little bit, but I'll get there.
That is a good Barney Rubble. But if you make his head, if you go for a round head, that could be a Rubble 2D2.
Hilarious. Yeah, that's too like 3-dimensional chess. I don't think I can do that. Well, because I'll fix the line here on the left of his face. The line on the right's okay, but I'll get there. And I don't know if I think I'm going to keep the neutral. Gee, I don't know, Fred. That's kind of got that look for his face. Good stuff.
Scoot likes your Invincible, Franco.
Oh, thanks, man.
Yeah.
And D. Brad has a question for you, Johnny. I know you do radio and podcasting, but John, have you ever considered voice work for animation?
Oh, God, I've tried to break in for years. Doesn't help being in Chicago. I keep bugging Baltazar. I'm like, will you learn animation so like me and your son can voice all your cartoons and stuff? Yeah, I'm working on it, sir. I'm like, no, you're not, but that's all right. No, I would love to do that. I'd absolutely love to do that. And I would never like Skoke's like pounding the pavement. Like Skoke's really trying hard to do that stuff. And I'm proud of him when he gets the voice jobs that he gets. Voiceovers are tough. And it was 20 years ago, I tried a lot harder. And even 25 years ago. And I ran into some really douchey advertising people that are just like, your voice is too broadcasty. I'm like, well, I've been, employed at that time, for the last 15 years, but sure, whatever. I'm sure you know what you're talking about, whatever. We want more natural voices. I'm like, this is my natural voice. I don't know how to break it to you, but whatever.
I don't know how more natural you want to get than a voice.
They want more like when I imitate Lenny from this, Simpsons. Hey, officer, do you mind if I sit here? That kind of thing.
D. Brad would like to know, will your Barney Rubble be up for sale?
Oh, I'm doing all this digital. I'm going to make NFTs.
I was going to say NFT.
Yeah. I had Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor on yesterday on Word Balloon Live. And I'm like, okay, because I'm sure this has crossed your minds. What are these things? And Wayne, you chimed in. You were talking about them and everything.
Yeah, I know a little bit of what they are. It's what they are is the digital representation. Some of it's just an image. Some of it is animation. And what you're basically doing is you're supposed to be creating this one-of-a-kind item. But because it's in the digital medium, you have the history of the ownership of this particular item when it changes hands.
Okay.
And part of it was when they start changing hands and the I think it's Ethereum is the currency, the cryptocurrency. It's another thing like Bitcoin.
Sure.
When the cryptocurrency changes hands, a portion of it goes back to the original creator. So in perpetuity. So it's literally a way to reimburse the creator for their creative idea, for their creative what they brought to life in the digital realm forever, so that when you see these auction houses, when recently here this week, Dave Stevens' Aurora cover from Alien Worlds sold for $120,000. So let's say if Dave was still alive and that was an NFT, he would get a portion of that sale if it was done through.
But but it's a digital version of something he created.
It's a digital version of something that you create, and they're going for some ridiculous prices.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't get it.
Yeah, like what Franco just said. I don't know.
Yeah, it's the wave of the future. Again, if you're,
but now
the best way to look at it.
Does the blockchain technology that they use,
Mm-hmm.
is that somehow, how is that hurtful or helpful to the environment?
It uses a lot of energy to maintain it.
Okay, because I heard something along the lines of like it's not very environmentally friendly, and I'm like,
No.
what does that mean?
Okay, what you're doing right now, you're drawing on a piece of paper.
Right. Or I think I am.
It has really no impact on the environment other than, let's say, if you throw it into the garbage. But
right.
But someone's going to get this amazing piece of artwork and they'll put it on their wall or do something with it. But now, if that was a digital, to maintain that digital image, and especially if there's animation involved, because when there's animation, you need more energy to make the little guys jiggle and do whatever they're doing. It constantly maintains that energy. It's like having your dishwasher on constantly.
Oh, geez.
That's like what you're trying to do is you're trying to explain digital technology that is continuous. And that's the NFTs. That's why they use up a lot of energy to maintain its digital status. It's interesting, but you can see, and I said that
but ultimately not sustainable.
Ultimately not sustainable, but the society's moving towards it. We're moving towards more of a digital environment.
I guess.
I get that. It's the same argument with comics, though. Like, you know, digital or physical, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Again, it's hard for
right. It's hard for
hard to wrap your head around it.
Yes,
because if I can afford a Monet, I will buy the Monet.
Right.
I don't want a digital representation of the Monet.
Right.
Because that's how I think that's our thinking. But the generations way behind us, they live in a digital world.
Right.
I understand
where
that.
Something like that makes more sense to them than to us.
I'm with you.
But I get that. I really do. But does it? Because then an inherent value, you can't have an inherent value on something that doesn't exist. And if you're creating something digitally, it exists only if you're printing it, using it. You know, if it's just in the ether and all of that just goes away, if we have a blackout, that's gone. You know what I mean? So
yeah, oh no, exactly. But the current, again, it's a generational thing at the end of the day.
Yeah,
that's the best way to try to put it.
So this is basically my dad telling me to turn that racket off.
Exactly.
A little bit.
Oh, before we go too far into the NFT world, Scoot loves your Barney. He says it's packtastic.
It's what pastic?
No, packtastic.
I don't know what that means.
Paco, Tony Paco.
Oh, it's I see.
I get it.
That's very nice. Thank you.
Making sure. Okay.
Okay. Wow. All right. It's actually not bad.
It's an interesting concept. I understand how society is moving towards. It's again, like I said yesterday, I have no interest in it. I want the physical artwork in my hands.
Yeah.
I want to read it.
Yeah.
Like I love the old artwork that you can buy. Not so much now because the prices are going insane, where they have the notes on the margins, where you're seeing Jack or Stan writing, we should do this in this area.
Oh,
or for dialoguing. It's beautiful stuff. Then you're seeing the creative aspects of your medium.
Yes.
I agree with that. I just think, again, getting something digital rather than something physical. But you're right about that. It is totally generational. Can you guys see
generational?
Can you guys see the Barney now?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah.
No worries. No, I'm sorry, Francis.
Yeah.
I don't want to interrupt you.
That looks like a Barney.
Yeah, it kind of looks like Barney.
Hey, Fred. It reminds me of that Eddie Murphy comedy bit with Fred and Barney.
Exactly. How would you like to? My favorite imitation of Barney and Fred. They made that. I believe it was Jendy Tartakovsky did a Flintstones movie. If it wasn't him, it was some other animator. And if not, it was like I don't remember if he did Dexter's Lab or not. Jendy, he did, didn't he?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so there was a Flintstones movie that they made for Cartoon Network where they go to Las Vegas and stuff, and it was animated. And Fred and Wilma are in marriage counseling, and she's like, "Doctor, this is the kind of world I live in every day. He's got this stupid, best friend, and they get themselves in the dumbest situations, and literally." Wilma breaks into a Barney or goes into a Fred and goes, "Hey, Bon, want to get together? And I've got a scheme that will not only screw us up financially, but will ruin our marriages." And then she becomes Barney and she goes, "Sounds great, Fred. I'll be right over." And I lost my mind. I'm like, and especially coming out of Wilma's mouth, "Gee, that sounds great, Fred. I'll be right there."
Wasn't that the interstitials they did for Boomerang or something like that?
No, I used to love that. The interstitials for Boomerang and Adult Swim,
right?
When Aquaman would dance in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, good stuff. I'm dying. But no, it was like a full-length animated Flintstones movie, and I know they went to Rock Vegas, and I know they did the live-action movie as well. But it was early 2000s or very late 90s, and that was my favorite scene. Where she pretty much spells out every Flintstones episode. "Oh, sounds great, Fred." You got Mel Blanc, Barney, and then I couldn't tell because Mel Blanc had that crazy accident that put him in a full body cast. Like he drove off one of those canyon roads in L.A. and was lucky to live. I mean, he could have easily died or whatever. And for a while, Dawes Butler took over Barney. So I don't know if it was originally the first voice that they used that wasn't as Ed Norton-y. But it was like, "Hey, how you doing, Fred?" Like that was that voice for a while for Barney. And then, "Oh, how you doing, Fred?" I love it.
I remember those distinct differences in the voices.
MeTV has been showing Flintstones, and actually on Sundays they just started showing an hour of the Jetsons. Good stuff. So as long as they don't pollute it with the crappy ones with the robot cat. That's when you're watching 90s Jetsons. The only day one season of the Jetsons. Like Flintstones lasted like at least 5 or 6 years. I don't know how many years Flintstones.
Oh, was the Jetsons on prime time or because I know the Flintstones?
That's a good question. I don't know. I believe so. I mean,
yeah, they were on prime time.
There you go. Good Lord, Johnny Quest, as you know, was on prime time, which I love. Oh my God! Good stuff. I'm looking up how many seasons 6 seasons for the original Flintstones.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the Flintstones, sponsored by Winston Cigarettes.
Yeah, they would have the commercials with them smoking and stuff.
"Hey, Bon. Hey, pick me up a carton on the way home from work, Fred."
"Hey, Barn, take a drag off this."
Exactly. That's terrible.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's good.
We should probably talk about Falcon and Winter Soldier at this point.
Yeah, back to the Falcon and Winter Soldier. God, Madripoor, awesome.
Oh,
very cool.
Latvia, right?
Latvia, very cool. Man, it blew my mind when they brought Zemo's hood.
Yes.
Isn't that the first time we've seen Zemo's hood?
That's the first time we saw Zemo's hood.
Yep.
And they referred to him as Baron Zemo. Because he's a Baron.
Yes.
He's a Baron.
Yep. Because he had his private Learjet.
Now, Johnny, when I saw it, I wanted to ask you because I knew you were going to be on, but his butler on the plane, who was that?
Oh, I don't know.
He's a character actor that I've seen.
Okay.
and I said, "Oh, Johnny would probably recognize this guy, unless I'm thinking of someone else. Unless I'm thinking of someone else, you know what I mean?"
I don't know. I just thought he was, German Alfred.
I thought he was, well, yeah, basically, but
No.
he's someone I've seen before somewhere.
He was hilarious. No, it was great. I like their little private joke in their language that, ha, stupid Americans. That's good stuff, man. But no, I was that, and seriously, they gave Zemo a sense of humor, and I thought it was a lot of fun seeing Zemo. Was that Siri at the end or Shuri at the end?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
Oh no, it wasn't Shuri.
No, it was
don't know her name, but she's one of the guards.
Right, yeah. That's right. That's who it was. It was one of the.
She plays Michonne in The Walking Dead.
The Walking Dead lady. I was going to say Michonne.
Yeah. Because and shame on me, but no, I'm like, I don't think that's Siri, and I'm like, that's got to be a Panther character, and I'm like, that's so fantastic, and just, I'm sure you guys have already talked about it, just the movie level of production.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we got that in WandaVision, I suppose, but it's just marked up so much more in this. And I mean, this is what I get more excited about than the Snyder Cut or other, debuts on the streamers and stuff. It's like, God, this is so good.
So well done, right?
And it's only halfway done, but it's like, think about it. We've already gotten like 2 hours of this stuff already.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like this. I mean, it's going to end up being like the Snyder Cut in terms of its length, but frankly, I think a lot better.
I have to agree. I agree with what Andrew Clark said. It would have been nice if they mentioned Patch, because we saw the sign for the Princess Bar that Patch owns, has part ownership, but it would have been really nice if they had a mention for Patch.
Okay, can't get everything obviously, but I'm
they sure did get in a whole bunch of stuff, right?
That's what I was going to say. I like all the Easter eggs they've dropped so far. I mean, my God. No, I'm really, really enjoying the show. I love that. I didn't even realize that Bucky's notebook is Steve's notebook, and I'm glad they kind of underlined that. And I like that he doesn't like trouble, man. Yeah, you see, you're confusing me with Bucky. Bucky likes big band music. And of course, Steve does as well.
Well, also, I learned recently this week. I don't know if you know this, Johnny, about the Bucky and Battlestar thing. Why that was all done in comics? Do you remember that? Do you know? I don't remember
why it was done in comics, but I know that I was really excited that John Walker and Battlestar, along with John Walker, is represented.
Because I was at the store yesterday, and Mark was doing a live sale, and he had that issue where John Walker and what's Bucky's name? Yeah, Battlestar, but what's his name? I forget his name. Lamar. How I think the writer, and I could be getting this wrong. We'd have to double check with Mark, but I think the writer of that was Mark Grunwald, and he wanted an African American Bucky, and they debuted the issue, but it was, I think Dennis Cowan had to go and explain why that wasn't a thing. Right?
Don't call him Bucky. Please don't call him Bucky. Wow.
They had already released the issue.
I forgot about that. Wow. Yeah.
Right? They had already released the issue, and then they had to go back and they incorporated it as part of the storyline, and then made him Battlestar.
I remember that cover where he says, "Don't call me Bucky," and it's like, yeah, that's awesome, man. No, I understand. That's very funny. I assumed that's why, because I don't remember reading that in its original run. I did read a lot of when Steve was the captain and Walker was, Captain America and stuff. That was cool. And I love, man, Kurt Russell's son killing it as John Walker, I think.
Still don't like him, but I guess that's what you're supposed to say.
That's supposed to like him. Yeah. He, and as I've made fun of her in the sequels for Star Wars, Wyatt Russell should get together with that British actress that played the general that has the giant nose, and they could just be like this big nose couple. I mean, her nose is much bigger than Wyatt's is, but it's just because his face is different than Chris Evans. When he first showed up as Captain America, it's like, yeah, how you doing? Hey, how's it going?
But also he has like this weird kind of inverted smile where his chin kind of comes in a little bit, right, into his mouth. So he looked like he was almost like doing this, with wearing the chin strap, and it reinforced it. So he's looking like this also. But I'm sure that they played into that on purpose.
Oh, we've been corrected by Andrew Clark. According to the internet, Oya, Florence Kasamba.
Yes, Oya, yes.
Is second in command of the Elite Guards, Dora the Malari from Black Panther. So it wasn't
it wasn't Michonne.
Denai. Okay. It wasn't Michonne. Okay. But it looked like Michonne. I thought it was Michonne.
Yeah, but Michonne is Sanina Martin. I didn't realize that's who.
No. Michonne is Denai.
Oh.
Denai Guerrera.
Again,
Sanina Martin Green also in Walking Dead.
In total defense, I fell asleep in and out of this episode, so I got to go back and watch it again.
No, I was just going, oh my God, she's here, without realizing it.
Well, and they made obviously the Wakanda, reference before showing her and everything. So
they did do that.
I think I'm satisfied with my Bucky, and I'll move on to something else.
Your Barney?
Yeah, that's what I meant. What did I say?
Bucky.
Yeah, that's
you got Bucky on the brain.
Yeah. Hey, Bucky. Oh, well, I'll be smashing Hydra's skulls, Fred. Hope you don't mind. I've been asleep for 40 years, and now I'm trying to kill you, Fred. That'd be great.
That's a mashup, right?
I was going to say, they should do that. My best friend's trying to kill me. And he's got to have the robot arm. That'd be fantastic.
All right. I think this guy's done. Actually, Wayne, this is 2 in a row.
That looks awesome. Good. Very good.
I think I'm done.
Speedy Gonzalez.
Moving on as well. So let's see. Save as.
Nice.
Save as Barney.
Yeah, Troy hopes that the character, Carly Morgenthau, she's the flag smasher, the little girl with the red hair. It'd be nice if she became a Diamondback type character for someone for Bucky to hang around with.
That's interesting.
So they could do a Winter Soldier and Diamondback series. Nice. Fun. I like all that stuff. Yeah, I just think the Marvel stuff is just so well done. So enjoyable, even though I fell asleep in and out of this episode. Full disclosure with it. But I'm having fun with everything. In terms of story-wise and all that stuff. I think. I believe so. I don't know about you yet.
Yeah, no, it's they're telling it's sort of like Winter Soldier, the movie Winter Soldier, where it's just this big, it's just going to be this big action series. It's not going to try to, you're not going to try to think going, is this going to be Mephisto at the end or not?
Right.
You're just going, how is it all going to tie in, because you only have 3 episodes left.
But I love how they're doing all that, like the difference in things. From the Scarlet show to this show. It's just I
so agree.
Well, yeah,
I totally agree.
And I also think that they're giving their creators, the directors and all that stuff, the freedom to kind of explore this stuff. To let that creative freedom come through, and it shows. It really does show, instead of having the corporate overlord type thing.
Yep.
That's me, though. I don't know.
I quite agree, sir.
What else we got?
Everything you said. No, I'm enjoying it immensely. It's a fine show.
Again, they're tossing in the little Easter eggs here and there.
Yep.
Especially when they went to Madripoor. That was just, you finally sort of get to see it and what it would look like. When
are the X-Men showing up, though?
Scoot wants me to play Mickey Mouse with a big. And that's my running gag whenever I see Scoot at Artist Alley. I always walk up and I'm like, "Can you do Mickey Mouse for me with a big cock, please.
No, jeez. Kids are watching.
Right. Well, it's a rooster. It's a giant rooster, sir. As far as you know.
Yeah, no, it was an interesting episode. We know that there's 20 super soldier serum that's out there. 7 have been used, so there's only 6 left because one gave his life for the others to escape. So there's still 14 in play.
And where are they? And who are they?
The Flag Smashers have them because they stole them. That's why the Power Brokers is after them. That's why those like the guys in those black cars are after them.
And we haven't seen the Power Broker yet, right?
We have not seen the Power Brokers, but we've only seen so far the sign that was on Madripoor that says the Power Brokers are watching you.
Okay.
When they were in Lower Town.
Now, is the Power Broker going to wind up being Loki? Do we know that for sure? Or are we just guessing?
It'll be Mephisto.
I don't know.
No, wasn't Loki the Power Broker? Or wasn't he disguised as the Power Broker in comics or something like that?
I don't know.
That one, you caught me on that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
Possibly. Because they do have a Loki series coming.
Yes, they do. Well, that's why as many people were disappointed with the way WandaVision ended. I'm like, I don't think the story's over, and if it doesn't dovetail into the other TV shows, it could easily dovetail into the Doctor Strange movie and a few other things that they got going. So I'm like, yeah, I'm not sweating the way WandaVision ended, personally. But that's me.
But I think we talked about this as well on previous show, but they had to, the whole COVID thing happened, so they had to change the ending a little bit. And it was supposed to be like, what did they have, 9 episodes? It was supposed to be 10 altogether, or whatever.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. But I think all in all, they did a really good job.
Yeah, man. No, I agree with that.
No, it looks really good. For a TV show, it has movie production values.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, 100%.
Well, it also helps that they're only doing one-off series. Like, they're not doing, these are almost like little, movie of the week type things. You know, like for broadcast television, if we're going to go back to our old days, or mini series like the Thornbirds or something.
Sure.
Those had movie production. Yeah, those had movie production values, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those were on film, and they were on location and stuff like that. When you had Rich Man, Poor Man, or when you had Thornbirds
on
TV.
Yep.
That was a big deal.
Yeah, there were events. Well, like Roots. No, they were TV miniseries were a big deal. Absolutely. Mm-hmm. There was a TV miniseries of the Bourne Identity with, as we just mentioned, Richard Chamberlain, Thornbirds, and Shogun. And it's really closer to the actual Ludlum books because Jason Bourne was a middle-aged character in the novels as opposed to Matt Damon. And they're good. It was a good miniseries. And Richard Chamberlain, I always say Richard Chamberlain and Michael York are like the 2 forgotten action heroes that did a lot of genre fiction that should get their due in the same way that we love, today's Marvel actors and stuff. Because between the Musketeer movies and Logan's Run, Michael York was all over, and Richard Chamberlain, they were all over the place. Shogun and the Musketeer movie.
Shogun, I remember Shogun. Yeah.
That was good stuff, man. And no, Richard Chamberlain was fantastic in that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
It's true.
It's true. It's funny.
So where do you think it's going to go from here? Because they're still trying to get from one. What was we said in an episode where the Mandalorian. That's it. Where each of the Mandalorian episodes, where he had to go from point A to point B, and it was in that episode. And it feels like almost like that with here is that you're going from point A to point B. So where do we think point C is going to be for the next episode? Because US agent is having a bit of a meltdown.
Yes.
because he can't find the Flag Smashers, and he's very upset that no one gives him any respect.
Because he's not Captain America. Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
that's his problem. He's not. He knows.
I don't care who you are. I know who you are. I don't care.
Yep,
that's what the guy said. Yeah,
you must respect my authority.
And considering it's COVID, he spat on him.
right.
Yeah,
I know.
Nice loogie.
Oh.
Nice post-COVID loogie.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't like it.
All of that. Yeah, I don't know. That's part of what I like about this.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you didn't think they were going to go break Baron Zemo out of prison.
No.
Yeah, that was awesome when they announced that last week. I was like, oh, this is gonna be good.
Well, they announced it, but like they were going to go talk to him, but you didn't think they were going to break him out of prison.
Break him out.
You thought maybe he was going to escape prison and be a part of this, but you didn't think that Winter Soldier was the one that was going to break him out. And then I like how they went through the whole thing to set up Falcon's sister in the first episode. We haven't seen her since, and all of a sudden she's coming in on a phone call.
That was funny.
And the one big criticism I have, I think, of this show is that the banter between Sam and Bucky is a little forced. Like the one-liners and stuff like that just seem a little too forced. I don't think their chemistry is that good where they're pulling that off. But again, very minor critique.
Because we compared the chemistry to Winter Soldier, where the chemistry between the three characters was great.
Mm-hmm.
Between Black Widow, Cap, and Falcon.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's sometimes you get those actors that just don't gel together, I guess. But yeah. All right, what else we got out there? Anybody saying anything?
Yeah, we had a question.
Yeah.
From Mike again. Aside from Mo, Curly, Larry, and Shemp, who are your favorite Stooges?
Mo, Curly, Larry.
Zeppo.
Well, if you're talking about the bottom of the barrel of the Three Stooges, I would place Joe Dorita over Joe Besser. Joe Besser, I told you guys in high school, I interviewed him, and he could not have been a bigger douche. And Joe Besser's the douche. Hey, Jeannie. Man, he thought the sun rose and set on his ass. And he even said, I was as big, if not bigger than the boys before I joined them. And it's like, yeah, sure you were. And also, he just creeped me out with his whole man-child demeanor. And like when he used to be on the Abbott and Costello TV show as Stinky. You know what I'm talking about? Do you know about his character?
Yeah.
Stinky?
Uh-huh.
That was just so gross in terms of like he seemed to be this little boy and he was in his little Lord Fauntleroy outfit, but he was clearly a middle-aged man. And like nobody on screen would say that he was a man, and including Bud Abbott would be like, "Come on, Lou, he's just a kid, leave him alone." And it's like, no, he's not. He might be older than Luke Costello. I'm not really sure, and it kind of frightens me that you're treating him like an old man or like a young like a little boy. Very weird. And also, he's on the worst sitcom ever, and that's Joey Bishop's sitcom. And he is just horrendous. That whole show from top to bottom, as Skokie Spidey knows, is just horrendous. It is so bad.
Well, that question is just a weird one to ask there. Who asked that? Skoke?
Yeah, Skokie.
That reminds me of that Mary Tyler Moore episode where Murr said to Ted Knight or to Mary about Ted Knight, what can you blame him? His favorite Marx brother is Zeppo.
I like Zeppo. He's not my favorite Marx brother. I liked when Zeppo would break in a song.
Yeah,
he was pretty good. Horse Feathers, great movie with the football players and everything.
Yep,
good stuff. I was just watching last week At the Circus was on, and that's a great one. That's not a great one, but it's a good one.
Yeah,
like second tier Marx Brother movie. So,
Night at the Opera and Horse Feathers, I think.
Yeah,
or Duck Soup. Right?
Day at the Races, Duck Soup. Duck Soup's the best one they made at Paramount before going to MGM. Night at the Opera is the best one they made at MGM. Day at the Races is just slightly underneath that. I like a lot of the original ones, and that really was like the earliest days of sound. Like I think Coconuts was made in like 1929, and it's so obvious that like, you know, with sound, everybody pretty much is just standing on stage, you know, because the microphones were probably not that sophisticated back then. But yeah, like, you know, that's the better stuff, and everything is.
We're gonna, you know, like I know that we were talking about Invincible and Winter Soldier, but every time Johnny and I get on, we devolve, no, not at all. Don't be sorry at all. We devolve into this old time movie stuff. So I'm thinking, no, that's fine. I'm thinking the next time you're on, we have to sit and talk about the Thin Man series.
Oh, I'd love to. Good Lord, I love that show.
Yeah,
those movies are hello, Asta.
Yeah, they're some of my favorite movies. So the next time you're on, we're not going to do anything modern. I think anytime that you're on, we have to go classic. I think
that's like Jimmy and Amanda and I when we were talking yesterday. And I forget a couple of the old things that me and Jimmy were starting to talk about. You say, "Okay, we've lost the entire audience." I'm like, I don't care. Right. I'm like, Jimmy, I don't know how to break this to you. I'm like, nobody's watching this right now. Come on. You know.
Wow, I was watching.
I know you were, Wayne. I'm teasing. You know that. It was, but yeah, it's like I always say that. I'm like, don't worry, nobody. I said that Joe Henderson was like, you know, giving little Easter eggs about season 5B of Lucifer on Wednesday. He's like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm like, Joe, nobody's watching. Who cares? I'm like, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's fine.
No, people may not be watching, but they're going to be listening. They're listening for sure. But no, definitely the next time you're on, when we have a week when we go old school. And we'll do the Thin Man series because I love that series.
I love that show. No,
it's all about the dog.
Yeah, it is.
Hello, Asta.
I just let's not talk about it now because I'll just evolve into that. So.
Oh no, I could go on forever. Obviously, yes.
Let's see if there's any other questions out there before we go.
Andrew Clark would like to know, what do you think Sharon Carter is up to?
I don't care. She has my full attention every time she's on screen. I'm kind of in love with her.
Yeah.
Like, who was she talking to?
I don't know.
No.
But I kind of like that she's got some, you know, that she's wanted in Marca, and she had to leave Marca.
Mm-hmm.
I love the whole thing about that they've made it political using the blip as their, you know, political difference of the people that survived and the people that came back. And that's a political issue. I think is a great idea.
You know what I think they're doing really, really well throughout all of these series is the minor character, the little characters.
You know,
like Kat Denning, like, you know, she's got this whole backstory now. She's kind of come into her own. You know, who's this person that Sharon Carter's talking to? All those little things are just like things that I love. In storytelling, because it kind of hooks you, like, wait, what was that? Why is she doing that? Who's she talking to? And those are the things that you want to follow going around to everything else. So I love that stuff.
I quite agree, sir. No,
I think she's working for the power brokers, because if you like, she had all that artwork, the original artwork in her house.
Mm-hmm.
The original
that's right.
Monet's, Rembrandt's.
That's interesting.
Now, wouldn't she be interested in finding out what happened? Because she knew where the scientist was.
Mm-hmm.
And the scientist was working for the power brokers to recreate the super soldier serum.
That's right.
Interesting.
Ooh,
could she be working for the power brokers to get it back for him?
I'm so close to doing a decent Popeye, so let's not sign off before I finish my Popeye.
Oh, no.
If you can handle it.
We do have a question for Johnny.
Sure.
Yeah.
From Troy, question for John. I was channel surfing and found a Roy Rogers variety show. I have never heard of this. What do you know about this?
I know nothing about that. I mean, obviously, he and the writers of the Purple Sage, his backup band, would sing in their movies and stuff. So it doesn't surprise me that there's a Roy Rogers variety show, especially with how big Westerns were on television in the late 50s and early 60s. I love Roy Rogers. I think Roy Rogers is like a really cool guy, didn't take himself seriously. He's in Son of Paleface, a Bob Hope movie. How you doing, ladies and gentlemen? Join me and Jane Russell and our special guest, Roy Rogers. And it's like, half a Bob Hope comedy and half a Roy Rogers action movie, and it's great. And it really balances both really well. And Roy Rogers is, it's like if the Lone Ranger showed up in a Rat Pack movie. All right, I'll be at the casino if anybody needs me.
I think honestly that he did the variety show as like kind of like a template to see if he can recreate this type of thing in his restaurants as like a as a show, as a dinner theater type thing, but it didn't really work out.
I regret not going to New York when the Roy Rogers restaurants were still there.
There are still some, and they're along the they're along the New Jersey Turnpike. And
it must be mob run.
And they're in New Jersey, and they are honestly my favorite fast food places, more than McDonald's, more than Wendy's. I like Roy Rogers burgers.
That's awesome. That's really cool.
Yep.
That's very funny. Yeah, I was a very little kid when they were still here in Chicago.
They were everywhere.
So Roy Rogers,
yeah, dude, he was huge.
Yeah.
He was huge. Trigger had his own TV show. The
Trigger is stuffed.
Yes, he is.
Yep.
So you have Roy Rogers, and then you have Jolly Rogers, and then you have Kenny Rogers.
Right. Wow. They're all related.
They're all related, right?
And they all had their own restaurants at one point.
They all had their own restaurants.
That's right. Kenny's like, hey, Roy, do you mind if I do roasted chicken? No, go ahead. I'll do burgers.
Yeah, I'll do burgers. And Jolly Rogers was the fish restaurant, but that didn't do well.
No, that was Long John Silver.
Long John Silver.
Was there a Jolly Roger restaurant?
No, originally it was a Jolly Rogers, and it was a hostile takeover. So Long John.
Yar! We're taking over for the whole chain. Yar! Including the salad bar.
It's true.
I like it.
See, this is what I love about this show is because this is how it would devolve at a convention as well when we're talking, and I didn't know at the beginning of this conversation that we would honestly be talking about fast food restaurants. It's awesome.
I'm very happy. Oh no, I came to play tonight. What are you talking about? I even put down the wow, so I could be clear-headed enough to break into voices when I needed to and stuff.
Nice.
Yar. I like it. There be Long John Silver. Let's take it over.
There be a Jolly Rogers restaurant. It's the oldest Italian restaurant on the Outer Banks, located in Kill Devil Hills.
Good name for hills, Kill Devil.
I'm never going to eat there.
Yeah,
we are locals' favorites for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
I don't know what you're talking about, sir. Anyway, Sonny and I were watching a ballet on TV the other day. What? Too much. I'm telling you. Awesome. Now, Arthur Treacher's always confused me as well. Speaking of fast food, seafood.
Wasn't that an English type restaurant that featured fish and chips? Right?
Yeah, it was fish and chips. Well, and Arthur Treacher, he was a big character actor in movies in the 40s and 50s, and then he became like when Merv Griffin had a talk show. He was like Merv's Ed McMahon.
I didn't realize that.
There's on Amazon. I don't know if they're still there. But for a long time, Amazon had great black and white video of Merv Griffin's talk show, and you could see Arthur Treacher on those and stuff. And oh man, and like Richard Pryor before he found his own voice, and he was really, when he first started, he was kind of poor man Bill Cosby in terms of a lot of his routines and stuff. And this is that period and everything. It's really interesting stuff. Merv had very interesting people on.
Interesting.
Well, we can talk up here about Tim Hortons.
Love Tim Hortons. I'm a big coffee fan.
Now, Tim Horton, correct me if I'm wrong, but hockey player?
Hockey player.
Yep.
For the Leafs.
Right. But, we got, I think we kind of blow you guys out of the water in that department because we got guest sidekick hosts that have their restaurants for Arthur Treacher's. We got Popeyes, for crying out loud. We got Roy Rogers and Jolly Rogers and Kenny Rogers. So you guys got Tim Hortons, and that's about it, right?
Yeah.
What are your other? Yeah, it's so quiet.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
He's ashamed. That that's the only thing they have is just a hockey player restaurant.
I don't remember what the question.
I think everything else is U.S. based.
That's like The Simpsons, and I forget what the question is, and Homer just goes, "No." Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think we have any other like locally based fast food, but we did create Trivial Pursuit. That's what I know.
My
That's
man.
Canadian.
Yes, you're 100% right. And I am so pleased that through eBay and other used online stores, I've been able to gather most of the original box sets. Because when you buy Trivial Pursuit today, you get like barely the size of a double deck of playing cards of questions. You get maybe 600 questions.
Well, the attention span is a lot shorter nowadays.
Yeah, but like back in the day, in the original runs, you would get 2 boxes that had 500 cards each. So that was
Right.
1,000 cards plus 6 questions on each card. So you have 6,000 questions. And I'm telling you, with many of my friends, we and in fact, Tom King and the Benson sisters and I will play the original silver screen Trivial Pursuit, which only goes up to like 1982 in its questions. So you got to be a real hardcore movie fan and old enough to remember a lot of these movies. And it's hard. And that's great because that's the pleasure. It's like, I don't want it to be easy. I want it to be hard.
Now, see, you do that with Tom King and the Benson sisters. Like, if you get together with me and Wayne here and we're playing a video game, we'd be more like Parcheesi or something, because we don't.
I do know. I'm sorry, man.
Yeah.
I know.
All right.
Well, it's all right. You guys, you mean well. It's okay. We got our old stuff that we talk about. What are you talking about? We're going to do the Thin Man, for God's sake.
I was in high school. We were playing Trivial Pursuit, and there was a comic book question, and it was wrong. And I'm going, well, that's not the answer. The answer is this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Well, no, this is what it says on the card. I'm going, trust me on this one.
No,
It's
I'm sorry.
wrong.
The correct answer is moops. The moops.
Exactly. Oh, no. I love that. It's great.
No.
It's a great moment on Seinfeld.
Oh, no.
I'm a big fan of that episode. That's with Brian Doyle Murray as the Bubble Boy's father. The Bubble.
Right. Yeah, Bubble Boy. Yeah.
All right, Bubble Boy.
See, there's the difference in generations. You have the Seinfeld generation and the Friends generation.
Oh, Wayne. Last year when I was teaching audio production at Columbia College, I had them put together a 60-second Seinfeld commercial using drops of dialogue from the show. And it was hilarious because these are kids that were 20. So like Seinfeld went off the air like 2 or 3 years before they were born. So for them, it was like me making them cut up an I Love Lucy episode and making it fun out of it. They had no idea. No idea. And like one kid's like, so this Seinfeld, what was he like stand-up or something? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, you don't know this show? I don't know this show. Okay. It was awesome. So you are 100% right, sir. No, very generational. Again, when I had them, I had them, I'm like, do whatever, 3 minutes on any topic you want. And this one kid's like, I really want to do a thing about old school animation. I said, oh, like what? Oh, Ed, Edd, and Eddie and Dexter's Laboratory. That's old school animation. And I'm like, sounds good.
It is.
Looking forward to it. Yeah, and it was. And I'm like, no, I get it, man. It's all relative.
All right. Well, let's see what you got because we're going to.
No problem. Actually, I just put the final ear. I haven't done his body yet.
Everybody, my Invincible one more time. We'll go from head to toe.
Is that all you're doing? Is just Invincible? I'm a little disappointed, Francis. I expect you to crank out. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's beautiful. Don't get me wrong. But I'm just saying. I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's all I'm doing. It's just the one drawing. I got some other stuff, but I'm working on that stuff.
No, I understand. Hold on. So let's see. Boom, and then share, and then there.
Oh, let's see. Big reveal. Oh, there he is. It's Popeye. Look at that.
Not bad.
It's pretty good.
You kind of can tell it's Popeye, clearly.
Yeah.
The left eye, I think I got very well. The right eye's not bad either. A little asymmetrical.
I like that his eyebrow goes underneath the other eye. I love that.
Yeah, it's kind of. Oh, that's true. All right, I guess I could erase it just a little bit. And
it's good. Leave it.
That's a scar.
Yeah, but now that does look more like Popeye, I think, with that edit. I brought you some flowers, Olives.
I like when he used to mutter things under his breath and stuff.
Well, on the last, that's why Hey, what are you doing? Hey. I mean, that's like Popeye mutters, but it's like Bluto's like, what a sweet mama. Oh, hey, oh.
And then and he's in this big fur suit all the time.
Yep.
And when Olive rejects him, he starts strangling her. I found, without even trying, I'm like, Bluto, Olive, and immediately like all these like images of Bluto strangling Olive, and it's like, man, that's why when I eventually talked to Rob Paulson, I want to bring that up because he's like, he's like 9 years older than me, and I just want to say, like, we know this stuff is hilarious. Show this to a kid, and I think they might be mortified.
They are.
Although, man, I'll tell you, I was watching Animaniacs, the Hulu season that they made and that came out last fall. It is so good. Like
I've seen 1 or 2 episodes. It's funny, yeah.
The Pinky and the Brain ones. Oh my God!
Where he makes the first lady.
Yeah, that's literally when it was the First Lady one and the NSA one in particular.
Yeah,
lost my mind watching both of those.
Yeah, I gotta watch them.
Good stuff.
We have a question for John.
What's that?
A certain artist named Kevin Bixby would like to know: is that Popeye or Poopeye?
Oh,
I'd like to think it's Popeye and not Poopeye. Who is Poopeye? Or is he making fun of me? I love, and then those are also like the color ones with Pappy are okay. The black and white Pappy ones are fantastic. Man, and he had those arms. He had the same like kind of bowling pin arms that Popeye had and everything. Good stuff, man. I love that. Hey, whoa.
Awesome.
Good stuff. I'm telling you. There's just a lot, again, when they would just run at the mouth and the various things they'd say. I watched on YouTube the other night a great documentary about the Fleischer Studios and their rise and descent and everything. It was really interesting.
Well, they did Betty Boop.
Yeah.
They also did Winsor McCay stuff, if I'm not mistaken.
That's interesting. I don't.
The little dinosaur stuff, maybe.
No, but that was Windsor. Actually, Winsor McCay did his own animation.
Did he work for Fleischer?
Gertie is.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know if the Fleischer Studios did gave him money to do it, but I know Winsor McCay did his own animation.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, actually, that stuff is like 10 years before the Fleischer Studios and everything, because the Fleischer started in the 20s. But they did obviously Superman. Like this documentary, and Leonard Maltin was actually one of the talking heads in this thing, and Carl Reiner was the narrator of this documentary. Yeah, it was really. I imagine it was on a DVD collection of their cartoons of some sort. But man, it really went into everything. Gulliver's Travels, and and just their rise and then their fall. And I guess I didn't know the Fleischer brothers got pissed at each other, and that's one of the reasons why the studio went away.
Oh, I gotta watch it. Yeah, it's on YouTube. You said?
Yeah, I'll send you the link.
All right. Cool.
So,
cool.
There you go.
But we have arrived at time. If there's any last questions we could get to, but I think we're gonna wrap it up.
Fair enough. I'm gonna finish my drawings and I'll post them on my social media because I did all right. I think I got forgive me for the self-congratulation, but I'm like, all right, those kind of look like who they're supposed to be. That kind of worked.
Troy wanted to remind us that Bullet is stuffed too. I catch up along Cassidy movies early Sunday morning. What is it with these guys stuffing their horses?
Yeah, well, Bullet is the dog. Bullet's the dog.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know if it's them as much as everybody else wants them around still.
He didn't want. Yeah, it was for the museum.
Yeah.
So I forget what Dale Evans' horse's name was. Dale Evans, before she started putting on all the Nashville Cowgirl stuff, go back to the 30s. Hobble a bobble a boomski, Dale Evans.
Yeah, Dale Evans she's stuffed in the Roy Rogers Museum. So.
Well, we had it in our wills that when we died, we'd re-simulate a bedroom scene of the two of us.
On that note, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for coming in. Thanks for drawing with me, Johnny. Thanks for talking. Next time, definitely we will go into extended detail about the Thin Man movies.
Just old school conversations, and I mean, obviously that was like 75% of our talk as well. By the way, Invincible and Winter Soldier are great.
Yeah, love them both. Absolutely. All right, guys. See you next time.